Hey guys, it's Blue Guy, and today I'm going to be filming my May wrap-up and June TBR. I'm filming it today a day early because I've pretty much finished everything that I want to read for this month, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to start anything on like the very last day of May because what would be the point of that? So I'm just going to film it early, but yeah, I've had a pretty successful reading month. I read, how many books? 9 books, and I also read 4 novellas, so that was pretty good. So let me just show you them now. The first book I read this month was Sky on Fire by Emmy Laybourne. This is the second book in the Monument 14 series. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It was so good, so action-packed. It was just as good as the first book, and I just really loved it overall. The second book that I read this month was Love Letters to the Dead by Ava Dyer. Again, I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. It was really inspirational, and I just really enjoyed it. It's just really good, and you should read it. The third book I read this month was The Program by Suzanne Young. And again, for the third time, I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. Like, seriously, I like overrate books on Goodreads, but these actually deserve 5 stars. But anyway, this was just really different and really good, and nothing happened like I expected it to. And I have no idea where the story is going. I have no idea where the story is going, and I'm really excited to read the sequel. The fourth book I read this month was Through the Evernight by Veronica Rossi. This is the second book in the Under the Never Sky series. I rated it 3 stars. I mean, meh. It was okay, but I think it could have been a lot better. The first book in this series was definitely better than this one. I felt the first half of this was just really slow and boring and nothing was really happening, although about halfway through it started to pick up a little bit, but it started to get really good about 3/4 of the way into the book, and then it was good up until the end, so it was okay, but could have been a lot better. Then I read 2 novellas in a row. The first novella that I read was Brooke by Veronica Rossi. This is the 2.5 novella to the Under the Never Sky series. I rated it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and it really made me like Brooke a little bit more. And the other novella I read this month was Annie and Fia by Kirsten White. This is the 0.5 novella to the Mind Games duology. I'll admit I was a little iffy about the Mind Games duology because not a lot of people like it, but after reading this novella, I'm actually kind of excited to read the first book whenever I do get to it because I actually enjoyed this novella. Did I say I rated it 4 stars? I rated it 4 stars. Then I read Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and 5 out of 5 stars. Oh my god, this was really good and really enjoyable. Just that's really all you need to know. This is like a mixture of the Hunger Games and I was just gonna say it was a mixture of the Hunger Games and Throne of Glass. No, that's not even possible. Anyway, I think this was like a mixture of Game of Thrones and the Hunger Games. Just really good. And it also has like really cool art in it. Like all the chapters, see this? It's just like, look at this and look at this. I just can't. Then I read The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. Just, can you guess my rating? 5 out of 5 stars. Duh. But I will admit, this took me a little bit long to read, but it was worth it. It was so good. If you have not read this, please read it now, because this was so good, so amazing, and I need the sequel now because the ending was like a super huge cliffhanger, and no. The next book I read this month was Into the Steel Blue by Veronica Rossi, the third and final book in the Under the Never Sky series to finish that trilogy off. I rated it 4 stars. Overall, it was pretty enjoyable. I think it was a good conclusion to the series. Although now that I've read the whole series, I think the first book of this series was definitely the best one. I think maybe the first fourth of this was a little not that good. It wasn't really action-packed, but I think the rest was good, so that's pretty good. And I liked how it ended too. Then I read another novella, which was In Time by Alexandra Bracken, the 1.5 novella to the Darkest Minds series. Duh. But anyway, I rated it 4 stars, I believe. It was pretty good. It was a little long. I didn't really like the main character, but he kind of resolves himself at the end. And also, I didn't really find the end that sad because everybody was like, oh my gosh, out of the feels. But I was not like that, literally, like, at all. So yeah. Then I read Savage Drift by Emily Leaborn, the 3rd and final book to the Monument 14 series, and this just came out this month in May, earlier in the beginning of May, and I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. Oh my god, this was so good. Oh, I can't believe it was so good. Like, this whole series was so good. It's one of my most favorite series, and the scary thing is that it could actually combat The Hunger Games as my new favorite series. I have not read a series like that in like a long time, and this isn't really a very popular series, so if you haven't read this series, please read it because it is so good and you will not regret it. The next book I read this month was Unravel Me by Tahara. Let's just call her T. Mafi. That's easier. Okay, so Unravel Me by T. Mafi. Anyway, I rated this 3 stars. Again, it was okay. Wasn't the worst ever, but I think that it should have had some more action. I think most of the time it was just really slow, and I was annoyed with a lot of the characters' attitudes and things they were doing, so that's the main reason why I didn't like this. It was just not what I was expecting, just meh, but we'll see how that wraps up in the next book. And then at the very end of the month, I read another novella, and that novella was Tomorrow is Today by Julie Cross. This is the 0.5 novella to the Tempest series. I rated it 2 stars. Again, it was just okay. It was mainly confusing and just really weird to me. I don't think it's really necessary to the series, but we'll see when I do end up reading the Tempest series in the future, but just meh. That's it for what I read in May, and now on to my June TBR. So the first book I plan on reading in June is Unite Me by Tahara Mafi. This is a paperback bind-up of the 2 Share to Me novellas plus Juliet's Journal. This is only like 200 pages, so I'll probably finish this really quickly. The next book I plan on reading in June is The Treatment by Suzanne Young, and this is the conclusion to the program duology. I'm really interested to read this because it's only a duology, and I thought it was going to be a trilogy, but then I heard it was going to be a duology, and this came out April, I think, so yeah, it's pretty new, but I'm really excited to read this because I have no idea where the story is going from the first book, which is the program, so it just like, I'm just so excited. You can't even see my emotions because I'm concealing them. Then I would like to start a series this month, and that series is the Mara Dyer series by Michelle Hodkin. Only the first 2 books are out, but I have them both here. The first book is called The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, and the second book is called The Evolution of Mara Dyer. I'm planning on reading both of these for June. They're both pretty big, around 500 pages, so it'll probably take the bulk of the month for me to read both of these, but anyway, I'm really excited to read these because it's like paranormal, like, and I've heard it's really good and also pretty confusing, so I'm really excited to see how that turns out for these books here because I'm just really interested. Was that a run-on sentence? I don't know. Then I would like to read An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. Again, this is really short, including the appendix and special features. This is only like not even 300 pages. It's like not even 250 pages, so it's really short. I'll probably get through this really quickly. And the last book I have for my June TBR is Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. I'm really excited to read more of John Green and David Levithan, so that's really exciting. So that's it for my Ray wrap-up. What am I, like Scooby-Doo? Ray wrap-up! Okay, so that's it for my May wrap-up and June TBR, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!